Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Vern Glenn. Hopefully, FP Santangelo Jr. and Russell Jackman will join us. At each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. And again, I specifically made this the NBA just for Mr. Jackman. And
well, I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Last time he did that, he couldn't. He was in court or something. He couldn't make it, and so I do it again, and now he's not with us. So
yeah, there's something before you hit the commercial break.
Yeah.
First Sports Econ 101 of the year 2023.
That's right. Holy smokes! You know what?
Yeah.
We've been on for 10 years now. I think I know. And you're only getting younger and prettier, my friend. Younger and prettier. I know. I put on a few more pounds, but
I certainly don't think I'm any smarter. That's for sure. I may be reverting.
No, come on. You're getting more wisdom. So interestingly enough, here one of the things that we want to cover. My daughter's alma mater beat your child. Well, actually, it's not your alma mater.
Tulane over at USC in the Cotton Bowl.
Smokes!
That did not go over well for our Trojan in the house. He must have seen a 15-point fourth quarter lead disappear like that.
Wow, that's not the biggest comeback, is it?
Ever? No, not ever.
I mean, I don't know about Cotton Bowl,
but significant.
Yeah. Wow. And for such a small, school like Tulane, that's they're not known for. They have a football team, but it's not like you get USC or Alabama, that sort of thing. All right, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments currently yielding over 7%, secured by real estate. Doesn't get any more conservative than that. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Edward Brown along with Vern Glenn. Not sure where the other boys are, but we got half of us here. All right, so let's actually start with Tulane over USC in the Cotton Bowl.
All right, we're going to start with the Cotton Bowl because it's bowl season. Yeah. Okay.
Bowl season, yeah.
As this show airs,
yeah,
it'll be 2 days before the national championship game.
Exactly. Yes. Which I actually do like watching that. It's like the Super Bowl. And there's usually definitely some fun football to watch. So Tulane, first of all, just the fact that they even got into a bowl game seems kind of like, what? I mean, it's funny because it's not the Greenways, it's the Angry Greenways. My daughter had
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you kind of look at the emblem and it's an angry green wave, So I'm just kind of wondering, USC has always been a powerhouse. This year, I guess, not so much.
They still had an 11-win season.
Yeah.
Which is a direct opposite of what they did the year before. So
what? A lot of it obviously is recruiting and all that. And if you're a good football player, isn't USC one of the teams that you want to go play for?
Yeah, but here's the big difference, Edward. Transfer portal. The transfer portal has been a game changer. Whether you're Tulane, USC, Austin P, it just doesn't matter. But it allows kids to immediately leave programs, enter the portal, and transfer to other schools and play right away. And I bet you, if you looked at the roster for Tulane, there's a lot of kids who transferred in because they wanted opportunity. The transfer portal has made a lot of programs stronger.
Interesting.
And obviously, programs like Tulane football, which was a mere afterthought until they pulled off their biggest win in the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah. I'm just wondering from the standpoint of if you're a really good player and you're really well known, let's say coming from high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to really think about too much about that transfer portal, do you? Because aren't you going to get picked up by a really good school to begin, like Alabama as an example, or even USC?
I think if you read the tea leaves, you probably don't enter the transfer portal if you don't have some idea of of a school that's out there that wants you. It may be a school that recruited you before you selected another school. And then there are other cases like the running back for USC, Austin Jones, I think, number 6. He started off at Stanford and he transferred to USC because he wanted more playing time and he wanted to take advantage of the NIL, which USC will allow, but Stanford did not.
Wow. I mean, it's changed so much. I mean, we started the show 10 years ago. We talked about the idea that the better schools get even better because the best players in the country coming out of high school want to play, you know, and even transfers, let's say from other, the best players want to play for the best team.
Right. 2 notes on Tulane.
Okay.
Last year, the record was 2-10. And their record was 1-1,692 when trailing by 15 or more points with 5 minutes or less remaining in the fourth quarter.
As they say, anything can happen, right? Just like the Minnesota over the Colts a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything, or the Raiders being the Patriots on that wild end of the game.
Yeah.
Interception. Just crazy stuff can happen.
Yeah. Or
you can go back and look at the Raider 49er game last week. The 49ers came in 9.5-point favorites and then ended up being a nail biter all the way to the finish in overtime.
Yeah, it's kind of fun when you have these quarterbacks who are, you know, kind of not really well known, and then suddenly, holy smokes, they are performing at a really nice level. You know, I mean, sometimes you get these guys coming out and it's like, I mean, okay, like Trey Lance, right? It's like you can tell he's got a lot of potential, but he's got to obviously not be hurt, but he's got to. It's like you could tell he still needs to be groomed to be the quarter, you know. But you look at someone like Brock Purdy, and it's like you can already see the maturity, you know, like how Joe Montana could come out and just like assess the field and figure out who he's throwing to. I never saw that with Garoppolo, you know.
Well, Garoppolo was the whole package, straight drop back, pocket quarterback. Trey Lance is a running quarterback, and then you get Brock Purdy, who is more athletic than Jimmy Garoppolo. That was understood, and Purdy came in with a huge ton of experience coming in, having played 48 of 50 games in college. Some of these guys, like Trey Lance, they leave early, so you don't have that experience of playing games, of being a starter in these games. And Purdy's one of these guys that not only is he athletic, he has command in the audience.
Yeah.
In the huddle. So, you know, you just can't go to Target and go to the quarterback section and go, I'm going to take this one. Well, you got to get them. You got to see if they can acclimate to your system, your scheme, and hopefully it works out. I think one of Brock Purdy's best abilities is his escapability and his ability to extend plays, and if there's just nothing there, since you're outside of the tackle, you just throw it away.
Yeah.
He'll do that to come back and find another day. Some quarterbacks are like, oh, nobody's open, I'm throwing it anyway.
Yeah. Or they just take the sack. I love these quarterbacks who could roll out. You know, and especially, can you imagine if you're a defensive lineman? You're so frustrated because you're always chasing these guys. You know.
Oh, look at Nick Bosa in that game. I mean, so many times he came within like an eyelash of a sack.
Yeah.
And Jarrett Stidham was able to get out of it.
Yeah.
I was impressed by Stidham, what he was able to do. But again, Stidham didn't have any pressure on him. Nobody knew anything about him other than the fact that he came from the Patriot system.
Yeah.
And came in, no fear, and was able to direct that offense.
You know, I could see how I'm just saying Bosa just because you mentioned him. When you get a player who's really good, who gets a decent amount of sacks, and then he's so close to getting one, he doesn't. You can just tell that the time that he's going to get to the quarterback, he's going to do a roughing the passer. It's like, I finally got you. Or just lets it go and then roughing the passer.
Yeah, that happened to Bosa a couple of times. He has 17 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
He's 2 off the franchise record.
Mhm.
And of course, the NFL record is like 20, 21 or something like that. But folks expected him to rack up at least a couple more, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That's and again, also with with the way that the rules have changed, it seems hard, well, I don't know, I guess maybe also for what offensive linemen can do, they have to be watchful, a lot more watchful of holding from their end too. But a lot of these guys, trying to hold up when you're ready to tackle a guy, it's going to be tough. It's just, I don't get it. It's just too hard. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Here's our first trivia question. Again, Russell's not here, but we're still going to ask an NBA question.
All right.
Now, I didn't see this movie, and I guess I probably should. Which NBA player played the lead role in Spike Lee's film, He Got Game? Got to go back to 1998 for this movie. All right?
Okay.
That's a trivia question. Email Edward at sportsecon101.com. The answer to this NBA question: which NBA player played the lead role in Spike Lee's film, He Got Game? And don't worry, the other questions have nothing to do with TV. All right, or movies.
All right.
All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, along with Vern Glenn. Our first trivia question: which NBA player played the lead role in Spike Lee's film, He Got Game? From 1990.
Okay, so this guy, this is for the Warrior fans out there. Here's the clue. This guy held an NBA record that Steph Curry broke.
Yes.
So that's so I'll give you like 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1, boom. The answer is Ray Allen.
Ray Allen. I love that guy. He hardly ever showed emotion. He just played. And you don't really ever think about him for defense,
No.
But you always think about three-pointer. And in fact, three-pointers really, I'm trying to think of like when you'd see him not do a three-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
At least Steph Curry would, he goes to the rack. But Ray Allen, you hardly ever saw that. He just always seemed to be an outside.
Everybody knows him for the three-pointers, and he was able to ride that all the way to the end, all the way to the Hall of Fame. So good for him.
Good for him. All right, so shifting on here to DeMar Hamlin. Now we're recording this on Tuesday. This just happened last night, Monday Night Football.
So by the time this airs, I mean, anything could have happened from the time that we're addressing it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, so to remind everybody, Hamlin is a safety, and he
safety for the Buffalo Bills. 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Makes just a routine tackle.
T. Higgins. And it looked like just a routine tackle.
Yep.
And but the impact was right here.
On his
the helmet hit right
shoulder.
there.
Yeah.
He tackled him to the ground. Hamlin got up for a split second.
Yeah.
And then fell right back down to the ground. And the reaction from the teammates was just amazing. I mean, they knew something was wrong. And the first responders, the medical staff on both teams,
yeah,
were on him. Whew,
now, right I'm kind of curious, and again, I'd have to kind of look at the film on that. Because I don't remember, was it immediately the players, waving them like, come here right away? Or did they just, you're watching the game, you see a guy fall back down, and they just ran out?
I believe it was a combination of the two. I mean, we didn't have the benefit of the all 22 camera where you can see the wide shot of the field, but as soon as it happened, and all 32 teams have like the best of the best medical staff on the sidelines, and that's what they're looking for.
But I think it went even beyond that. I think there were some independent, like contractor type medics who were there really quickly, weren't there?
Yeah, the stadium provides that as well. I mean, but they were on him immediately, and CPR was administered, and they worked to get oxygen to him. to help him breathe as he was transported from the field to the ambulance. Rarely do you see an ambulance drive onto the field. So when you saw that, you knew it was bad. And then teams on both sides were visibly upset over what had happened. And as he drove away, the teams eventually left the field, and through the Players Association, they elected not to play the game.
Yeah.
Because at first, the league was just going to be, nothing to see here.
Yeah.
You guys take a couple of minutes to regroup. We're going to play the game.
Yeah.
And it never happened.
Yeah, I think they made the right decision. Just if nothing else, the players' heads weren't in the game. I mean,
No.
and someone probably could get hurt again, but also from the standpoint of the, again, taking the emotion side out for just a second, the quality of the game. And this actually was a pretty important game. This is not just a like who cares type of game, and you need both teams to be at the top level. So I'm glad they made the decision to postpone it.
The key thing that you said was take the emotion out of it. Well, in this case, you couldn't take the emotion out of it.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I meant was like me. I'm not trying to be stoic about it. I'm trying to say like put whatever I'm saying like gosh, Edward, you're not being very kind right now. And I said, yeah, I'm purposely.
Oh, you mean
I'm putting my emotions on the side. Yeah.
Did you see how Skip Bayless just got destroyed on social media by posting what he posted as soon as it happened?
No, I didn't see I didn't see it.
It was a tweet to the effect of, hey man, this is an important game. I mean, how can you not get this in? How can you not play on it? It was like that, and then he was just getting just destroyed by.
Well, and also it's like it's not like it's not going to get played. They're going to push it off for a few days or whatever. I mean,
that's usually what happens, and it's probably going on right now. But when to reschedule this game, because there are consequences to how that game would impact conference seeding, playoff stuff like that.
And then they, who are I get both teams are going to be are already in the playoffs, right?
Well, the Bengals had a chance to win the division with a
win. So what happens? It's like they have to play, and then they have to play again a lot faster than getting an extra rest, right? I mean, when are they thinking about playing it?
We have nothing's been released as to when they're going to get this game, but they have to get this game in. They just have to.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's boy. I mean, it's kind of scary. And then as we're taping the show, he's still on a ventilator. It's probably hopefully just a precautionary.
Yeah, he's on a ventilator right as we record the show, and just coming out of cardiac arrest. So it's
well, you hope somebody.
I just like the fact that he would that the medical staff, the first responders were just on him, and the stadium to the Cincinnati Hospital, which is one of the best trauma centers in the area, maybe the best trauma center in the area, was only minutes away from the stadium. So it happened quickly.
Well, and it was kind of interesting as I was thinking about when you've had serious injuries like Mike Utley for the Lions being paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's as serious as that is, it's not life threatening. Now it could have been, but so when guys they take a long time and they finally get them on the stretcher. But you're right, they generally don't have an ambulance come on the field. Right.
This 51 years ago, there was a guy by the name of Chuck Hughes. He was a backup receiver for the Detroit Lions. They hosted a game. This was, I believe, 1970. They're playing a game against the Chicago Bears, and Hughes got blown up on a play, so to speak. And then he got up, and the first guy to see him was Dick Butkus, the linebacker for the Bears, and Hughes just collapsed to the ground, just like Hamlin did, and they carried him off on a stretcher, took him to the hospital, and unfortunately, Chuck didn't make it. He had a heart attack on the field. It was the same thing. Blood not going to the brain, and he was out. So there has not been an NFL death on the field since then.
Oh, oh man, yeah.
And one thing for the viewers and listeners out there, we were talking about this off the air. One big difference in the fact that it just where the responders were just on Hamlin. If you and I were at the park, some family gathering, and then we just keeled over,
yeah,
the time that elapses between that happening and us getting medical attention is huge. Somebody's got to call 911. You got to wait for medical attention to arrive. That could be 10 minutes or whatever. Then they got to get out. Then they have to administer, see what the situation is, and immediately react. So it could be 15 to 20 minutes for
either dead or a vegetable. So serious.
Yeah.
Boy, I know it's way too early to even think about this, but
well, you can't really speculate on something like that.
I mean, you just kind of wonder, because guys, have cancer and they come back. Obviously, I would say obviously he's not going to play the rest of the season, but I wonder, assuming he kind of comes back in full force, hopefully next year he can resume.
Guy's only 24 years old.
Oh, 24. That's just
24.
That's it. That's just scary. Okay, we're going to cut to another break here pretty soon. When we come back, we should recap the year in sports.
Sure.
Trying to think, I guess the latest thing that happened Hamlin, that's this year. Pele.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I mean, he put sports on the map for America. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, nobody was really interested in soccer. And then in the late 60s, early 70s, here comes Pele, and it's just so far and above everybody that people started kind of paying attention to soccer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, different era, no electronic media. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's true.
But once he signed and played for the New York Cosmos, that's what really vaulted him in America.
In America, yeah. A very beloved person, too. Okay, a very good ambassador for the sport.
Yeah.
All right, our second trivia question, talking about the NBA. The NBA draft in 2003, by the NBA draft of 2003, only one team had never had a lottery draft pick since the inception of the lottery in 1986. Which team was that? All right.
Which team was the lottery pick in 2003?
By 2003, only one team had never had a lottery draft pick.
So the last remaining team without a lottery pick finally
got a
lottery pick in 2003. What team was that? Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. One more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my special co-host, Vern Glenn. For some reason, the boys didn't make it. We'll have to find out why. Here's our second trivia question. By the NBA draft of 2003, only one team had never had a lottery draft pick since the inception of the lottery in 1986. I read that a lot better this time. Which team was that?
Oh, was that LeBron's first year? So that would have Cleveland Cavaliers?
No, it's a team that has been to the finals once or twice. Never seemed to make it. Never seemed to pull. I remember Jordan's Bulls beat them, and I'm trying to remember who else they lost to. Maybe Boston. No. Well, anyway, I know Utah.
Any other clues?
If I'll say two names and you'll get it within a half a second. Stockton, Malone.
Oh, the Utah Jazz.
Jazz. Yes.
Oh, far out.
Yeah. Just kind of one of those random questions. Next one's kind of fun too. Okay. Let's see here. I got. It's so funny. I have a thought for the day that's going to last longer, so I'm going to say it now instead of at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So when our lawnmower broke, this is talking about my wife, my house here. When our lawnmower broke and wouldn't run, my wife kept hinting to me that I should get it fixed. But somehow I always had something better to, else to take care of, the shed, the boat, making beer, etc. Right?
Other
Always something,
priorities. Right.
priorities, exactly.
Yeah.
Always something more important to me. Finally, she thought of a clever way to make her point. When I arrived home one day, I found her seated in the tall grass, busily snipping away with a tiny pair of sewing scissors. I watched silently for a short time and then went into the house. I was gone only a minute, and when I came out again, I handed her a toothbrush. I said, "When you're finished cutting the grass, you might as well sweep the driveway."
Toothbrush.
The doctors say I will walk again, but I'll always have a limp.
Oh, that's funny.
I know. I knew you'd like that one.
That's a good one.
I figured that was going to take me longer than the 2 minutes we have. It makes me cry. That makes me laugh. I'm glad
That's
my
funny.
wife's not here, or else she'd be, kind of giving me that stare. You know that stare.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same. If for the kids at home, it's the same look you would get in elementary school when you were in trouble by the teacher. The same. The same wife look. Oh boy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not even I'm disappointed in you. It's what? Are you
No, yeah.
serious?
No,
Get over here.
It's a look. Yeah.
All right. So 2022 is over. What kind of year in sports did we have? I mean, I know we had some painful ones like death, like Pele. I saw something on TV actually last night where they were talking about having a transgender boxing or mixed martial art, like a division.
I saw a blurb about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The transgender element is making more and more of of an impact across all fields of play. So it's coming on, and this is a faction of athletes that where this has to be addressed.
Yeah, I mean, if there's definitely enough of them, then yeah, they should have their own division. One thing I'm glad about is it would be extremely scary to have a transitioned man to woman box or mixed martial arts another female who was born female.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about some. I mean, I saw some little clip in hockey where there was a guy who transitioned to a woman, and there was like a nothing. I mean, it looked like a nothing hit, and this female went down and got a concussion. And I mean, this was like, I don't even think it's like a fair assessment, because it wasn't even a really hard hit. But swimming is hard enough just because even though there's no contact, men have an advantage. But when you have something like, where it takes like real strength or, natural strength, et cetera, like boxing or mixed martial arts, I mean, someone's going to get killed. And if they didn't have a separate division, I mean, what I don't understand is where the feminists are not absolutely like screaming about, because it's ruining women's sports, especially for the college for women. Let's say girls going from high school to college, where they're losing scholarships to these transitioned people.
Well, I mean, it's. I mean, we're on the verge of opening a can of worms on a discussion like this, but again, there's only but so many scholarships in the non-high revenue generating sports to begin with.
Yeah.
So, it's I'm going to say it's an issue, but it's certainly something that will be addressed for years to come. We've already had gender changes in, say, like the world of swimming. There was a swimmer for Harvard, went to Harvard as a man, and then identified as a woman and did the medical change, and then came back as a woman.
Well, Leah
as a member of
Thomas,
the women's program.
didn't Leah Thomas do the same thing? Is that for Penn State, I think? Or
Yeah, there are cases of that happening. So
well, it hasn't happened that I know of yet in basketball. But can you imagine? Has that happened?
there was a collegiate player
Collegiate one.
for a Division III mission college in the Bay Area down in Santa Clara.
Okay.
And this was a person that was a man for most of his life. In fact, uh, went to college, joined the Navy, had a nice Navy career, and then ended up having a sex change and became a woman, but had 1 year of college eligibility left and ended up playing for Mission College
In basketball.
in basketball. Had to
And
get a court order, all this kind of, it was.
how did it work out?
She ended up playing.
Yeah.
Actually ended up playing for a friend of mine, and it became a national story.
And
I did a story on it for the local TV station that I was working for.
How well did she play?
She played well. I mean, she was a center, I believe 6'7", and dominated, which was an issue in this, but was legally allowed to play. Now, overall, the school wasn't good enough to make it E3 NCAA or something like that. But
what about the NBA? What about the WNBA? I mean that.
She wasn't good enough to play at that level. No.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
What other exciting things we had here in sports? What do you think?
Well, for me personally, it started off with the NFC Championship game where the 49ers lost to the Rams at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
A game where the Niners had the lead in the fourth quarter. Ended up a couple of things went against them, and they lost to the Rams, who then showed up 2 weeks later on their home field and won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, they kind of had a fall from grace, so to speak, didn't they?
Right.
What
Then we transitioned right from the NFL to golf, and every year the PGA comes to Pebble Beach, and so we had to cover that event. And a guy named Tom Hoagie ended up winning the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. One of the big factors was it happened to be the same week that some of the top golfers, a lot of the top golfers, had jumped to the Live Tour.
Oh yeah,
Saudi Arabian Live Tour.
Yeah,
and so they went around to play in this event, and so Hoagie ended up winning. So yeah, the Live Tour really stirred things up, and it's even today still remains an issue.
Well, yeah, because we're in
from that to college basketball, to the NCAA's, which we carry on the CBS local affiliate here, and then there was the Giants fall from grace. Ended up bowing out, and then we have the Houston Astros becoming World Series champs. The Colorado Avalanche ended up winning the NHL Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And then with the NFL, the big thing is the 49ers drafted a guy by the name of Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
And the 262nd and last pick in the NFL.
Well, don't forget don't forget your Warriors beating Boston.
The Boston Celtics, yeah, and the Warriors. I was there.
Yeah.
I was there as they ended up doing it in 6 games, and which produced a terrific parade down Market Street in San Francisco, and so yeah, it's been.
Let me ask you, when the parade happens, where are you?
I'm in studio.
Okay, gotcha.
Hosting the parade coverage.
Okay.
And we had 5-6 reporters at different spots along the parade route. And for something like that, you just go back and forth. I'm pretty much playing point guard in studio. All right, let's go to here. Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's go to here. Let's get
now, there's times when you've been in the parade, down there.
Yeah,
right?
with the previous winning campaign. Yeah, I've been along the parade route, and I've just been one of the several correspondents, with the headset, and
that's going to be a little busy.
What you see, and then it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, you got fans all around, and it's back and forth. It's the euphoric, we did it kind of thing. So
I love that. As a fans, we did it.
Didn't you see the shot I made in game 72? Come on. Yeah.
If I didn't cheer for them, they wouldn't have won. It's interesting you mentioned the Live Tour because it's the wintertime now, and so it seems to kind of like sort of right into the sunset, and then it'll come back again. Because I guess, was it last year? 2022 was like the year that it really started, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So we'll see what happens 2023, if it's going to gain steam and get more people to jump. And I think at some point they're going to probably merge the two because
well, that would be the Live Tours in game.
Yeah. And I don't know if the PGA can afford not to, because there's so much money in the Live Tour that they'll just start siphoning everybody away. It's sort of like what, the AFC and the NFC back in the 60s in football,
Oh, the merger.
The merger, these upstart, jets.
But here's the big difference. The Live Tour, these are 54-hole tournaments. The PGA, that's 72 holes.
Okay.
So if one gobbles up the other, I mean, what are we talking about here as far as
probably 72
play to win?
Yeah, they'll probably do that. They'll probably go with, I would think, with whatever the PGA has. But anyway, I tell you what,
if you look at the Roman numeral numbers, LIV for Live Tour, it's 54.
54. Well, that's a good point. They'll have to change that. Okay, here's our third trivia question. Which team was the last team in the 20th century to win 4 consecutive NBA championships? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back with some closing comments. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vernon Glenn. Third trivia question. Which team was the last team in the NBA excuse me, let me ask this again. Which team was the last team in the 20th century to win 4 consecutive NBA championships?
I'll guess the Boston Celtics?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. Yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking, well, did the Bulls? No, they won 3, didn't they?
No. Yeah, 3-peat. Yeah.
3-peat, and then they
Bulls, Lakers, stuff like but
to win 4, and that must have been with Bill Russell, right?
Yeah, I would think. Yeah. Well, I mean, they won what like 11 in a row,
and something like. Yeah, that's just.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. Which so funny, just back to that transgender thing, the whole idea. I think I'm going to play in the NBA. I'm just going to tell, hey, LeBron, it's not fair, LeBron. You've got to play on your knees because we're going to make this all nice and even. Okay, are you ready? Okay, we already did our thoughts for the day, so we're going to just bow out now and say, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and asking more sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Happy New Year, America.
So long.